Okay, this video is about word problems involving the probability of a union or an intersection. And the formula that you need is this one right here. This symbol, which looks like a U, stands for union. And in word problems, you'll be looking for the word or. And the probability of a union between two events is going to be the probability of the first event plus the probability of the second event. But then you have to subtract out the probability of both events happening at the same time, which is called intersection. And in word problems, you'll be looking for the word and. Now, to explain this a little better, I actually came up with an example just using numbers instead of probabilities. So let's say I let A be the number of students in my Math 136 class. But let's say I'm also teaching a Math 140 the same term. And so B is the number of students in that class. But let's say there are some crazy students who decide that they just love math and want to take two classes at the same time. So the intersection of A and B would be the number of students taking both 136 and 140 in the same term. So I threw in some numbers. I said, let's say I had 28 students in my 136 class and I had 30 students in my 140, and here's those 5 crazy people who, took both classes at the same time. And so if I asked you to find the union of all of my students, I'd be like, well, I got 28 in 136 and I got 30 in 140. That's 58 students. However, when I added these two numbers together, I just counted 5 of those students twice because I got 5 students here that are also there. You have to subtract out that overlap. So really, I only have 53 students that I'm dealing with. Yeah, I still got to do 58 grades, but if I'm dealing with just students, if I just said, how many students am I teaching as individuals, I've got 53 students. So, and this, concept works with probability also. It's just easier to explain just using regular old numbers. So I'm now going to go to the word problem that Alex generated for me, and it has to do with one of my favorite things, pizza. At a certain pizza parlor, 56% of the customers ordered a pizza containing onions. I circled that in red, and it says 56% are doing onions. So I used O for onions, and then it says 40% of the customers ordering a pizza containing sausage, so I used S for sausage. And then 70% order a pizza containing onions or sausage. The or would be my union. And then it goes on to say, find the probability that a customer chosen at random will order a pizza containing both onions and sausage, and is my intersection down there. So I color coded everything for you. And 56% ordered a pizza containing onions, so 56% has to go right here. However, down here it says write your answer as a decimal, not as a percentage. So I have to convert my 56% to a percentage. I'll do that in the corner here. 56%, all percentages come out of 100. And 56 divided by 100 is, sorry, I ran out of room, 0.56. So really all I have to do is move my decimal 2 places to the left. 56% would be 0.56. So that's going to go right here. Then in purple, 40% of the customers ordered sausage. 40% would be 0.40. And then in blue, 70% order a pizza containing onions or sausage or both. The or is my union, so 0.70 goes there. And then last but not least, find the probability that a customer chosen at random will order a pizza containing both onions and sausage. That's this one right here. This is what I'm looking for. So I'm just going to call that X. because I'm an algebraian and I love solving things algebraically, so I'm just going to call it x. That's what I'm looking for. And now I have to, do some algebra here. To solve for x, I'm going to start by combining the 0.56 and the 0.40. So when I add these two numbers together, I get 0.96. I still have minus x. To get x by itself, I'm going to have to get rid of the 0.96. Now right here, that 0.96 is a positive. So to cancel it out, I'll need a negative. If you add a positive and a negative together, they cancel. So I'm going to have to subtract the 0.96 on the other side as well. 0.70 minus 0.96 is actually going to be a negative 0.26, but that's okay because when these canceled here, I still had this minus sign in front of that x, so I still technically have a negative x, or if you will, a negative 1x. And then to get x by itself, since these are multiplied, I'm going to have to divide by negative 1. Negative 1 divided by negative 1 is a positive 1x. But what you do to one side of an equation, you got to do to the other. So I have to divide that by a negative 1. And a negative divided by a negative makes that a positive 2/6. And I can just leave it like that because Alex said put your answer as a decimal, not as a percentage. Technically, that's 26%, but they didn't want that. I noticed on another question that I generated, it actually gave me the probability of onions, the probability of sausage, and the probability of their intersection, and then asked me to find the probability of the union. So this would have been my x, and then I would have had a number over here, and I just would have added and subtracted and been done with it. Since there's 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces to this formula, they can actually ask you to find any one of those 4, but they have to give you the other 3 in order to have enough, numbers to make it work. So I'm not sure what Alex is going to generate for you because I did it a couple of times, and one time it asked me to find this. On this one, it asked me to find that. And so this was a little bit more detailed, so that's why I did the example of this. So I hope that helps you. Let me know if it doesn't.